Hollywood's golden age appears glamorous with its big screens and shining stars, but there's a darker side filled with lies, cover-ups, and secret affairs. While studios created stories about perfect families and sweet romances, the reality often differed. The children involved in these scandals faced the toughest challenges. Secret babies born from affairs that could ruin careers. These kids were the quiet victims of the industry, disrupting the fairy tale image. Some grew up believing false stories about their origins, while others had parents who ignored them. Many carried the emotional weight of being a secret that no one discussed. One unfortunate story is about a girl whose life was filled with lies, kept hidden from the world, and even from herself. "I told my fiancé, I can't marry you. I don't know who I am." He smiled and replied, "I know everything there is to know about you." Number 1. Judy Lewis, the hidden daughter of Loretta Young and Clark Gable. In 1935, actress Loretta Young and married actor Clark Gable filmed The Call of the Wild in Washington state. Their affair led to a scandal that lasted for decades and deeply impacted a child who grew up unaware of her true parentage. The trouble begins when Young and Gable become romantically involved during filming. Young, known for her wholesome image, discovers she is pregnant while Gable is already married to Maria Langham. Both of their careers are at risk because of strict morality clauses at that time. To protect her reputation and her baby, Young devised a bold plan. She faked a trip to Europe to hide her pregnancy, secretly gave birth, and then shocked everyone by adopting a child named Judy, who was actually her biological daughter. Young pretended that Judy was an orphan she had rescued. This was not just a small lie, it turned into a lifelong deception. Gable stayed out of the picture and never acknowledged Young or Judy publicly. In a shocking twist, Young even insisted that Judy undergo surgery at 7 years old to change her ears, which resembled Gable's. Judy grew up in Hollywood's glittering world, but felt something was off about her family story. It took her until she was in her 30s to learn the truth, not from her parents, but from a magazine article that hinted at her factual background. "Everyone in Hollywood knew," said someone who worked in the industry. "It was a terrible secret. People noticed Gable's features in Judy, but she had no idea." When Judy confronted Young, she finally admitted the truth in tears. Gable passed away in 1960 without ever truly knowing his daughter. Judy shared her story in her book, Uncommon Knowledge, but Young did not speak out publicly until after the book was released. Young eventually told Judy the truth but never went public while she was alive, said a family source. Even as society changed and single moms were more accepted, the shame lingered. Judy's life is a stark reminder of the lengths stars would go to protect their images. Her story begins with real feelings between two famous people, but ends with her as a hidden secret in a world of illusion. Number 2. Marlon Brando's 11+ children, chaos and denial. Marlon Brando changed acting with his powerful performances in On the Waterfront and The Godfather, but his personal life was chaotic. He had flings, failed marriages, and at least 11 children, some of whom he acknowledged and others he ignored. A biographer said, Brando's fatherhood was as unpredictable as everything else. He got close to some kids, neglected others, and many were unknown until after his death. The consequences were tragic. His family faced deep pain, including Christian Brando shooting his half-sister's partner. Cheyenne herself later took her own life. After 2004, more children claiming to be Brando's emerged, some unaware of their famous father. This showed how fragmented his family was. A director who worked with him said, he was warm and caring to some but absent for others. Many of Brando's kids grew up thinking about their legendary father, who often wasn't there. A therapist noted, having Brando on your birth certificate is impressive, but without his presence, it feels empty. Number 3. Bobby Darin's sister was his mother. Before Bobby Darin became famous with songs like Mac the Knife, he grew up believing a false story about himself. He thought his grandma, Polly, was his mother, and his real mom, Nina, and was his sister. This lie was common among unwed mothers in the early 1900s, but it deeply affected him. Born Walden Robert Casado in 1936, Darin learned the truth after a fight when his aunt, actually his sister, revealed it. This shocking news sent him on a journey to find his true self, which changed his music. He moved from pop songs to folk and political themes, showing his quest for identity before he died at 37. The family secret was meant to protect him, but it caused more pain when it came to light. A psychologist explained that while they wanted to spare him hurt, such lies often backfire when the truth is revealed. And 3 men were suspected to be the father. Number 4, Sean Astin, the baby born to Patty Duke with 3 possible dads. Patty Duke gave birth to Sean Astin at 17 in 1971, sparking a confusing family story in Hollywood. While dealing with her undiagnosed bipolar disorder, Duke was linked to several possible fathers, including Desi Arnaz Jr., who had dated her as a teenager. His famous parents tried to keep him away from the drama, fearing it would hurt their image. Duke quickly married Michael Tell, a man she barely knew, but the marriage lasted only 13 days. Tell was later confirmed to be Sean's biological father. After that, John Astin, Duke's next partner, adopted Sean, so Sean believed for years that John was his real dad. The media coverage of Duke's life was intense, especially as her mental health struggles became known. DNA testing revealed the truth decades later, helping Sean understand his family situation. He learned to navigate his relationships with his 3 fathers and eventually found peace with his past. Number 5, Charlie Chaplin's denied son, Carol Ann's paternity trial. Charlie Chaplin, famous for his kind-hearted film characters, faced a difficult paternity trial in 1943. Joan Barry claimed he was the father of her daughter, Carol Ann, and the case quickly turned into a media spectacle that hurt his reputation. Although blood tests indicated he was not the father, the court ignored this evidence. Barry insisted that Chaplin was her only partner during the time of conception, and the jury believed her. This case damaged Chaplin's public image, especially with rumors about his relationships with younger women. It also happened during the McCarthy era, when his politics came under scrutiny, making him unpopular in the U.S. Chaplin had to pay child support, even though he denied being the father. Carol Ann grew up feeling caught in a conflict she didn't start. The case showed the gaps between science and law, marking a significant turning point in Chaplin's life. He left America in 1952 and never fully returned. Number 6, Joan Crawford's adopted children, real or publicity props. Joan Crawford's story of adopting 4 children seemed optimistic at first. However, over time, the reality became more complicated. Some critics argue that her adoptions were more about her image than true motherhood. Crawford adopted Christina in 1939, followed by Christopher and twins Kathy and Cindy. The media celebrated her as a glamorous single mom, but Christina accused her of abuse in her book Mommy Dearest, published in 1978. This book damaged Crawford's reputation, revealing claims of mistreatment and suspicious adoption methods. Christina suggested that some adoptions involved dishonest processes rather than genuine love. This made it seem like Crawford cared more about appearance than real connections. Adoption experts warned that treating children like accessories could lead to serious emotional issues. Crawford's other children defended her, showing a different view of their mother. This division leads to a mixed legacy. While we may never fully understand Crawford's true feelings, her adoptions created a complicated mix of fame and family struggles. Number 7, Clark Gable's son with waitress Kay Spreckles. Clark Gable had a son named John Clark, born after Gable passed away in 1960. Gable and his 5th wife, Kay Spreckles, were expecting John when he died from a heart attack. John grew up with his famous father, but he never really knew him. While there were rumors about Gable's first child, Judy Lewis, facing rejection, John dealt with having a well-known dad, but missing out on a personal relationship. John tried to create his own path by working in movies, business, and racing. He took time to come to terms with his father's legacy. Unlike Judy, he didn't question his parentage, but struggled with the pressure of Gable's fame. He once said, "Born with the name, not the pipes," reflecting his feelings about living up to his father's legacy. John represents the challenge of being a child of a Hollywood star while trying to find his own identity. Number 8, Errol Flynn's daughter, allegedly conceived with a minor. Errol Flynn was a popular actor in the 1930s and 1940s, known for his good looks and charm. However, his personal life was filled with scandals. In 1942, he faced trial for allegedly raping 2 teenagers, Peggy Southern and Betty Hansen. He was found not guilty, but this damaged his reputation and revealed his attraction to younger girls. There were rumors of other young girls involved with him, some claiming they had his children. These stories were often kept quiet through legal tactics and the influence of Hollywood. One woman who was underage when they had a relationship chose to stay silent to protect herself and her child from public backlash. Flynn never admitted to these claims. The story faded for many years. If the rumors are true, they show a darker side of Hollywood, where vulnerable people suffer because of stars' actions. His possible child represents the hidden effects of fame, carrying the burden of a troubled legacy. Number 9. Charlie Chaplin's late-life children with Una O'Neill. Charlie Chaplin married Una O'Neill, the daughter of playwright Eugene O'Neill. They had a surprising relationship with a 36-year age gap. While many were shocked, they stayed together and had 8 children during Chaplin's later years. Their family life was challenging. Chaplin and Una had their first child when he was 55 and their last when he was 73, a family researcher says. After Chaplin was exiled from the U.S., their home became a special place for the family, with Chaplin at the center. One daughter, Victoria, left home at 18 to join the circus and co-founded Cirque Invisible, seeking independence from her father's fame. The other children faced their own struggles, including mental health issues and finding their own paths in art or obscurity. Being Chaplin's kids is tough, a journalist points out. Fame can open doors, but it also brings high expectations. Growing up as Chaplin's children meant dealing with the pressure of being in a legendary figure's shadow. A family expert says, having an elderly parent changes everything. There's a lot of history without guidance, and that pressure can feel overwhelming. Chaplin's later family life shows that even celebrity kids face difficulties. Number 10. Lana Turner's daughter involved in a murder. Cheryl Crane, the daughter of actress Lana Turner, gained public attention after a tragic incident on April 4, 1958. At 14, Cheryl stabbed her mother's boyfriend, Johnny Stompanato, during a violent argument. Stompanato worked for mobster Mickey Cohen and had been abusive to Turner, creating a dangerous home environment. Cheryl claims she acted in self-defense, but the incident threatened Turner's career, linking her to crime and scandal. Although Turner publicly supported Cheryl, their relationship suffered from the emotional impact. There were rumors that Turner was the actual murderer, with Cheryl taking the blame as a minor. After the stabbing, Cheryl faced many struggles, including mental health issues and substance abuse. She spent time in psychiatric wards, but eventually found stability by accepting her identity as a gay woman and working in real estate and writing. Cheryl's story shows how celebrity children can suffer from their parents' problems, often facing brutal realities too soon.